Finally, we are back with our Road to 300 BPM video series. I don't know what day this is of the challenge. I think it's gonna be around maybe day 60 or day 70 already. I had to take a break because of two reasons. Number one, I had the flu, so basically I was lying on my couch for more than a week actually. And the second reason is we had a lot of students join our drum technique mastery program. And you know, a lot of students, I'm talking about 16 in total, within 7 days, which is a lot, really a lot. That's also why we switched now to only opening up 3 to 5 slots at a certain point in time. But you know, when I have new students in our drum technique mastery program, then in the beginning, it's my goal to answer their questions within 4 to 6 hours, 7 days a week. So basically, it only takes me more than 8 hours if I'm asleep during the night. Otherwise, I'm really quick when it comes to answering their questions. And with the program, they just have to watch the videos, they practice, we tell them what to practice, and then after a couple of practice sessions, they upload their progress, and then it's time for me to give them feedback and tell them what to focus on next. Takes some time. Actually, if you take this seriously, it takes a lot of time every single day, but it's well worth it. We got the results and I'm happy for them and their progress. And this brings me to today's topic, which is, of course, ankle technique. Once again, I'm back at 260 beats per minute. It feels great. My left foot feels way better. My left ankle feels way better again. But also there's one comment that I got, and actually I get this question pretty frequently. We're gonna show this one comment here or somewhere here. Was on YouTube, and this one was about starting and stopping with the ankle technique. Which I have to admit, actually starting and stopping is not so easy with the ankle technique, especially if you want to play perfectly in time. Now if you compare this to if you compare the flat foot technique to the ankle technique, for example, with the flat foot technique, you know, stopping is really easy. You just drop your whole leg and your foot to the floor or to the footboard, that's it. Then the beta swing stops immediately. With the ankle technique and this constant back and forth of the beta swing, this is actually not that easy. But also, you know, if you practice this consciously, then you can master this within a couple of practice sessions. Couple of practice sessions spread out over at least 2 to 3 weeks. Still takes some time, takes conscious effort, but once you get used to what I'm going to show you when I'm sitting at the drums, then it at one point becomes second nature and way easier to control the beta swing and to start and stop in time. So we will talk about this one today. And final thing I want to mention, you know, since this is about control, double bass control, you know, with the ankle technique, actually, again, if you compare it to another foot technique like the flat foot or heel down, especially those two are good examples. So with the ankle technique, at first you just want to focus on getting used to this constant beta swing and just using your calves. That's the first step, with each foot separately. Once you got that down, you want to be at the point where you can play along to the click, again with each foot separately, for long periods of time with ease. And funny thing is, with the flat foot technique, for example, you have to work your way to that endurance, because if you want to play for long periods of time, you're gonna need a lot of energy and train the muscle groups in your upper leg, especially your hip flexor. With the ankle technique, since the pedal is doing most of the work and you're just using your calves, and your calves are used to this pounding, and because you're walking, when you're walking around, you need your calves all the time. So you got the endurance already. It's just about being able to control that beta swing and playing tight to click with each foot separately at first, and then combining both feet. And then the next step, so you got endurance first, and then you focus on control. And by control, especially I'm talking about the starting and stopping of the beta swing in time. You have to practice this with each foot separately. Again, at first, starting and stopping in time. Right foot, then left foot, then combining both feet. And actually, once you have the control and you have the endurance, those two in place, then it's time to focus on speed with the ankle technique. But more about that a little later. So that's it for this introduction, and I will see you in the rehearsal room. Finally, actually, moving is done. We moved to the new house. It's awesome. I got my own rehearsal room finally after years, I'm talking more than 10 years. I have my own rehearsal room, which is awesome. So I'm gonna see you in a minute. So let's talk about starting and stopping with the ankle technique. So before you even think about focusing on starting and stopping in time, at first make sure that you got this constant beta swing, the constant back and forth in control with each foot separately. Looks like this. Once this is tight and you can play for long periods of time at the same tempo with each foot separately, along to the click, then it's time to focus on starting and stopping. So regarding starting and stopping with the ankle technique, actually, the big difference between, let's say, the flat foot technique and the ankle technique is, with the ankle technique, you have to be in this ready position, and we like to call this the pre-tension, to start in time. Pre-tension means you want the weight of your upper and lower leg resting on the pedal. Because right now you can see my upper and lower leg is relaxed. There's no weight on the pedal. So what I mean by that is, when you contract your calf muscle like this and your upper leg is relaxed, now the weight is on my pedal and the beta starts to travel towards the bass drum head. That's the pre-tension, and this is the ready position. The big issue that I had in the past, many of my students at the academy have at first when they start working on the starting and stopping position, is, this is not a conscious move to be in this position. So you have to train yourself to, basically you have to train your body and your mind to get in the ready position before you start to play double bass. For a lot of drummers that use the ankle technique, what happens is, once they are able to control the beta swing like this, they just completely relax their leg, and when they want to start playing again, so actually they forget to get in the ready position before they start to play a certain pattern. So basically all we have to do is train ourselves to get in the ready position. And actually in the beginning this takes conscious effort, yes, but at one point you don't have to think about getting in the ready position anymore, and your feet will just get ready right before you start to play a double bass pattern like this. So when I'm not playing with my feet, actually I completely relax my legs, and you can see that my heels drop back down to the floor, but every time before I start to play again, they get in the ready position. So now let's talk about the most effective way to train this, because again, it takes training and it takes conscious effort in the beginning. So what worked best for me personally was to just pick out one pattern that first focuses on the right foot, then on the left foot, and then a combination of those two at different tempos, and I'm always focusing on actually staying in this ready position. So I'm getting used to this constant contraction of my calf muscle, which will then bring me in the ready position and enables me to start in time. So right now I want to demonstrate one of my favorite patterns when I first started out. Starting tempo should be the tempo that you feel most comfortable with, this constant beta swing back and forth with each foot separately. So for this example right now, I'm gonna first show it at 180 beats per minute. Pattern looks something like this. So right, this was not 180, this was 200 BPM, still the same exercise. Actually, it's just 5 fast hits in a row with each foot separately. So first you play this pattern with right foot, then left foot, and then combine those two times. So it's a 4-bar cycle. Really easy to do. And actually, once you get used to this at a certain tempo, like in this example at 200 BPM, then it's time to increase the tempo and make sure that you are as tight as possible. So let's give this a try, increase the tempo to 220. Alright, then you can increase it even further. So now let's go to 240 beats per minute. And of course, since this is a really short double bass pattern, you can increase even further. So now let's go to 260 beats per minute. And now finally, let's give this a shot at 280 beats per minute. So again, just using the Yamaha EAD10, one microphone and bass drum triggers combined, recorded at once, so no editing possible. So let's see what 280 sounds like. So enough about the starting and stopping, just one final thing I want to add right here. I recommend in the beginning, when you want to work on starting and stopping and improving that area, then pick and choose just one pattern and try it at different tempos. This will make it easier to get in the flow and you remember the pattern, you don't have to think about it and you got more brain power left to focus on getting in the ready position. So now I talked a lot about starting in time, but I didn't talk about stopping in time yet. When it comes to stopping in time, actually, that's really simple. When I have a longer break coming up, then I basically just let my heel drop back down to the floor like this. So in a pattern, it looks something like this. When I only have a short break coming up, then basically I just stay in the ready position. So I end the beater swing with a static contraction of my calf muscle. So the up and down motion of my heel just stops and I keep my heel up in the air. Looks something like this. To sum this up, when you have mastered the beater swing at a specific tempo of each foot separately, then it's time to focus on starting and stopping. And again, this takes conscious effort. Takes a couple of weeks to just get used to this starting position and like getting ready to play double bass every single time. And I know with other techniques like the flat foot technique, you don't need to really get into the ready position. With the ankle technique, you need it. Take some conscious effort, conscious practice, couple of weeks, and then you are set. And that's enough for this practice session. Now it's time to pick up my son from kindergarten, so I'm gonna see you in the car. Done with today's practice session. After rewatching some of the stuff that I've recorded, and especially my playing today, I have to tell you that I'm not super happy with how I played today. Especially at the higher tempos, I was always starting a bit too early. I was rushing and I'm not happy about that. But the good news is that's something to improve. So I'm going to focus on this one during the next couple of practice sessions. Some of you might have also seen that with my Pearl Eliminator pedals, I now switched to the purple cams, just testing those, still testing those right now. And also I switched out bass drum beaters to the Axis, I switched to Axis Marksman beaters. The reason is that those Marksman beaters, I think they are just a little bit heavier than the Pearl quad beaters, but the balance of the beater is pretty different and I really like that feel, so I'm testing those right now as well. But I'm not really sure if I'm going to stick to those, so I'm gonna give it 2 or 3 more practice sessions with the Marksman beaters and then I will decide if I stick to those or if I go back to the regular Pearl quad beaters, which have worked great in the past for me as well. And you know, I've tested all of the Pearl cams that are available, so the black ones, the white one, the yellow, the purple, the red one, and which one is the final one? The blue one. Yes, so I tested all 6 of those, the 4 regular ones that you get with the pedal and the 2 additional ones, the yellow and the purple one. And if you're interested in that, then I can share my thoughts on those and I can tell you which one is currently my favorite, which might surprise you. So we can talk about this in the next Road to 300 BPM video series. Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today. I hope you are doing well. I wish you a great day. Cheers from Vienna. Bye bye.